Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the NCS Minor one-day CSGO LAN here in sunny DC. It is actually kind of sunny today-ish. Better than it's been. Yeah. It's been a rough couple of weeks in terms of weather. But what we do have, we may not have warm weather, but we do have some red-hot CS coming your way. We're going to be hopping over to Group D. I'm joined by a new man here on the desk. We got Josh rolling in. Going to be making his LAN debut, casting Counter-Strike. Yes, so welcome aboard.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
And we've got a couple of new teams coming in as well. We've got Northeast Mayhem against Lore. We're hopping down to Group D, so we are jumping groups. Previously, we had the two college teams in Group C, and now we're shifting our attention over to get some vitamin D, speaking of sunlight. So it's going to be Lore against Northeast Mayhem. Northeast Mayhem is going to be Chops, Monk, DVL, Squidda, and Mock. DVL and Squidda, players on the Vivency roster. And then from Lore, we've got is his name actually Inferior? That feels like an ego drop.
Yeah.
Inferior. You just name yourself Inferior.
Yes, there's two I's in that.
All right, we got Inferior, Yazzie, Hyper, Wilkie, and Kerflopinator, which I like Kerflopinator as a name, I'm going to be honest here. But Inferior, come on, man. Self-confidence. It's all about that self-esteem. We're all about that self-love here at GEXDCAE, at GEXDCAE Area Esports Club. But I think we're going to be hopping into the server in a moment. I'm not sure what map we're going to be on. I know I saw it earlier. It might have been Train. Cache. Nope, I was wrong. It was Cache. So we're going to be headed into Cache. I tried to guess, but short-term memory, I've got that of a goldfish, folks.
That's okay.
Just in one ear, out the other.
You had like a 1 out of 7 chance, so.
You know, sometimes you just got to roll the dice.
Got good odds.
Sometimes you just got to roll the dice. The last Nerd Street Gamers Championship was in Atlantic City, so we spent some time rolling the dice. But now we're into the NCS, and it's going to be a championship circuit all across the United States of America. Events in your backyard, so check it out, folks. Head on over to, I think it's ncs.gg is the website. They've got a shiny new website, so check it out. Check out the tournament circuit. And this is all, of course, powered by our partners in Linode. They are a digital server provider. They've got SSD-based Linux servers based in Philadelphia. So very good for the East Coast in particular, but for the U.S. in general. If you need yourself a new Prac server, or if you need some cloud computing for any sort of project you're working on, head on over to Linode. You can type !Linode in the chat to get a code. I believe it is NCS 2019 for $50 off your own private server. So that's a pretty hefty discount on a private server.
Yeah.
So you need to prep your CS team for one of these NCS LANs. If you're coming to an academy event, a minor, a major, or a championship, you can head on over to Linode, get yourself a server, and get ready. And of course, if you need to upgrade your own personal battle station to bring those sweet, sweet frags to the forefront, you can head on over to Computer Upgrade Kings. That's CUKUSA.com or CUKUSA on Twitter, and get yourself a battle station befitting a top fragger. I want a battle station befitting. That worked out nicely.
Yeah.
So I think we're headed into the server here. We got players loading in, and we should be underway in just a moment. It looks like, did we have pistol round, or was that just knife? No, it looks like it was just knife. Okay, so we're going to get started with the pistols here. It's going to be a Big Chillin', which is the Northeast Mayhem side, starting out on the CT side, and it's going to be Lore starting on the T's. Inferior is going to be picking up the utility here. Forgot I had to observe for a moment, folks. There we go. So he's going to be picking up a smoke and 2 flash, and it's going to head into a quick mid-play. It'll be Chops to receive them. See if he's got the chops to be up to the task. Not quite going to find a head as a player switches in towards vents, and it's going to be an overwhelm straight onto the B-bomb site. However, DVL and Dash chiming in and clicking heads. Dash will be cleaned out of the back of Checkers, and there's a second kill from Inferior, not living up to his name, but DVL is quick on the retake. Not going to be able to find the kill, and instead it's Chops who's out heaven, trying to click away at some heads as he's dueling with Kerflopinator on site, but he just can't quite line it up. Chops needs to hit the shot, and there he will. Redeems himself with that shot, and he's got the kit as well to take the quick defuse and pick up a pistol round for Northeast Mayhem.
Yeah, that almost went really poorly, actually. Chops almost missed, or he did miss all of his shots on up on heaven.
Could have kept his teammate alive, but you know, sometimes sacrifices must be made. You gotta crack a few eggs to make an omelet, you know.
Yes, yeah. No, he's lucky that that T on the site was shooting at his teammate.
Kerflopinator. What a name. What a name, Kerflopinator. You got to respect the creativity here. It's going to be heavy presence towards Squeaky early on as these Ts just kind of want to slip the business to the CT side. It'll be yes, yeah. Oh, God. That's going to be hard to say. That's definitely not the name that we had registered, but he's going to lead right in towards the site. Actually doesn't find the frag. It's Wilkie instead to do the deed. And they won't find a follow-up, but they will get a bomb planted. So now 4 players on the retake. One very close up will get run right down by Wilkie. He's just parading around the site, pushing through smokes and finding damage. Wilkie finds more. Wilkie going huge here on the A-bomb site. Now playing around the forklift. He's got control, and Wilkie not needed for the last 2 frags as a round is stolen away by Lore. They'll tell tales of this day as some lore has been written indeed, and they steal away that eco round. A little bit of a misbuy here, an extra SMG out on the server, but it is going to be 4 rifles and 1 single SMG to carry through into the 3rd round. And it's Deagles on the side of Northeastern Mayhem as they'll try and answer back with a force of their own.
It was definitely unfortunate for Northeastern Mayhem actually to come for like, what was it, 3 CTs coming through CT spawn to try and retake that site.
Looks like we're going to have a boost up in mid here. It's going to be, oop. There's a dash hopping up. The dash gets tagged and immediately falls down. As you can tell, folks, I'm a pro observer right here. It's going to be Chomp sticking close in towards mid, and he's getting spotted by the player in red boxing garage. So he's going to fall away, fading towards the sandbag position. This is being well played by the Ts. They're taking it slow. They're taking it patient. They're using your utility to bully out these pistols and avoid getting into a compromising situation. But now the take is on towards A, and there's actually 4 CTs here to reinforce. So it's going to get messy. The pistols are all close. They got to be careful. And Dash is actually going to lead the charge. Finds the first kill. And they've worked the player in towards quad box as well. So bodies are starting to fall here for the T side. It's getting very messy indeed. Kerflopinator up on the catwalk. They're going to be able to find some damage and a frag. There's the second as well. But he's unable to find the third. Leaves it all to DVL and Inferior. Inferior still needs to get the bomb planted. He's got no information to my knowledge of where DVL's coming from. Creeping up the highway, but it won't matter because Inferior finds the peak and DVL does not have the return shot. So 4 HP still alive. Lore pick up a 2nd round.
Yeah, Lore actually, when they smoked off the site, they split the site into 2 different sections, and that actually prevented them from pushing out and taking over because they didn't know where the CTs were. It's really, really slowed them down. But looks like Northeastern Mayhem's going to be ecoing this round.
Monk picks up the Zeus. Cash is not a great map to Zeus.
No.
He's got the Mother of Dragons as his profile picture, so maybe he'll be the Mother of Zeus's. We'll see. There's no presence actually towards this B-bomb site whatsoever. They've gone for the full gamble stack, and why not? You've just got bare USPs. Maybe you get lucky. Maybe they hit the A-bomb site. Maybe you take down a few bodies, steal away a rifle, steal away 2 rifles. Hey, who knows? But as it is, Lore playing it patient, just kind of feeling it out, and now the 4-man swing is going to come through to the B-bomb site instead. So they gambled A, they didn't see anything for a while, and now they're going to try B and see if this gamble works. But the reality is that Lore's just been showing patience. They're sitting. A minute has now passed on the clock, and they're just going to sit and wait and see if the CTs will play their hand. It's Chops who's likely to find the first point of impact, but it is going to be the first gamble that would have been rewarded indeed. As the Lore, they're starting to stack up towards that A-bomb site. They're creeping players out into A main, and they'll have an early warning system on the CT side in the form of dash at the truck. But it ultimately likely won't matter much. And actually a player hopping in towards A main going to lose his life. That signals what's going on, tips the hand, if you will, but it's unlikely to matter much, as there should really be no path back in here for Northeastern Mayhem. Maybe Dash gets one. He's caught one at the forklift, but unable to land the second shot. Not going to be able to steal away the kill. So some damage has been done, but now it's just DVL raining in shots from the truck. Will quickly lose his life. So 5 alive for Lore as they keep it clean going into round number 5.
Yeah, Northeastern Mayhem actually staying on the A-bomb site not as long as they should have. Because they rotated off and got a little impatient or was a little too worried that Lore was planning on the B-bomb site. That actually cost them the round, I think. I think they had a much better chance if they had sort of just played retake.
It's bare USPs. It's pretty tricky to get back in once you start a retake with bare USPs if you don't have any utility whatsoever. So they were really just gambling. They gambled the first, they gambled the second, didn't work out. Now Squidda on site, going to be twisting, turning, looking every which way with the AUG. And he's got support as well from Toxic. But Inferior is going to end Chop's life rather quickly. But Squidda's just walked straight through the smoke. He's completely turned the tables on him. Gotten out towards Forklift as well, but he's only good for one before dropping. Still so much damage has been done onto these Ts that if even an HE rains in towards Quad, there's going to be a frag found. As DVL will lead the charge, the rest of his teammates coming in from Truck, but DVL going to have to get adventurous here, playing around the Forklift. Will catch out Inferior and leaves just Hyper playing around that same Forklift to defend. Hyper loses his life. And the bomb will be defused as Northeastern Mayhem, they reassert themselves here on cash. Op retrieved as well, so they're going to have a nice buy going forward.
Definitely redeeming themselves after that first attempt at a retake on the A-bomb site.
There's still plenty of money left in the T-side bank, so they'll go ahead and reinvest, buy up here. Lore going to be picking up the full AKs. Don't want to go for the op at all. So expect a bit of a faster play because they certainly did have the money to go for the big green gun if they chose. But let's see which direction they want to take this hit. Now an AWP going to be holding in towards the B-bomb site. And actually just two tucked into mid. Chops has a nice position by the sandbags. He's going to get one. Nearly had the second, but just didn't quite line up the spray. Didn't do enough damage in time. Still, that's information, and mid will fall. So ground taken by Lore. Map control as well. Now they can choose which direction they want to go. Looks like they might be tucking in towards the vents. This is an adventurous peek from DVL. Gets aggressive in B main. He's punished for it, and that's going to lead to the B site falling. It's just Dash trying to get back in towards Heaven, but they're losing bodies, and Dash can't answer back fast enough. So he's going to be mollied out, and now the bomb site will be planted. It's just left to Dash to try and keep this op alive. There's the first found. Kerflopinator down, but they're certainly going to be ensnaring, encircling, chasing him down. There's no reason to allow him a chance to save this gun. They've got plenty of money to rebuy if they lose bodies, so they're just going to be looking for it. They slow down for a moment to make sure there's no chance he's going to get this retake. But the reality is his prospects were slim to begin with, and without them giving him a free peek on towards the site, they're slim to none. So he'll be retreating back towards the A-bomb site, but he'll actually get caught out as he tries to sneak into Z. Wilkie finding the frag instead. And so nothing saved through for Northeast Mayhem. The reset comes in. That's a really bitter pill to swallow, and Lore are out to a great start here.
Yeah, that round was just individual skill. That's all it came down to. You know, Lore had all of the right picks at the right time, and it just left Northeastern Mayhem really vulnerable in all the wrong spots.
Dash goes to the Zeus. Here we go. I want to see one Zeus kill before the end of the game. We didn't get one last time. There was someone buying Zeus's over in towards Abs. But no Zeus's as of yet on the day. Chop, though, going to get it done with the Deagle. He's found two, has opportunity for a third, as he's just playing whack-a-mole, hopping around the headshot position. Nothing found as of yet, and now the bomb will be planted as the bomb site is secured, but there's still opportunities for these pistols on the flanks. They've got a player up in towards Heaven, might be able to pop ahead on site. And damage coming in from the vents as well. Dash is trying to get the Zeus. I don't know if they realize he's here yet. He certainly expects them to boost up in. That Molotov going to force his hand. Nothing doing there. So now it's just left to the Deagles, who are being flashed into oblivion to try and find some sort of a frag as they exit out on site. There's the spot for Squidda, but he doesn't have the shot. Jiggle peeking it, not going to find it, and he's quickly lost his teammate as well. So 5th round secured by Lore. They're good in the anti-ecos, and now we should not quite get another buy, maybe a pistol armor buy from Northeast Mayhem. They're just looking to get back on track here on the CT side.
Yeah, Lore's starting to get that upward momentum. They're starting to really get also the financial momentum as well. They're really they could lose. They have a huge margin of error actually to lose this round, and then they'd have to force next round if they lost.
Kerflopinator finds 1, 2, nearly the third. Inferior is there for the trade, or for the pickup rather. They've lost 1 body, but it doesn't really matter. They've got the bomb retrieved, and damage not really there for Northeast Mayhem. Now they're just split up on CTs. It's 1 to each site. Dash really going to try for the Zeus. Really wants it. So maybe he gets it this round if Infurior starts to poke around and look for him, but he's got a flank coming in as well, so he should quickly lose his life. Utility in. There it is! All right, Dash, I see you. He's not going to live much longer, but hey, the damage is done. The psychological damage to be key. So a nice Zeus kill there. That's what you like to see.
That some action from Northeast Mayhem. Last round, you know, they really tried to sort of start the upset against Lore, because when they sort of had that eco rush in A main, they sort of thought, you know, what is something different that we can do? They were trying to figure out how can we make the best out of this eco, and it did, you know, they did do a good amount of damage.
You got to get adventurous when you're going to eco. You just kind of got to throw a dart at the board and see what's going to hit. Nothing in that round. It's going to be a peek in towards A main. What an aggressive play from Monk. Just goes straight in and finds himself a kill. There's the second as well. Monk answering back with the op. Knows there might be a player squeaky, and he's looking for it as well, but they're going to be able to fade away. Still, Dash has done damage towards B, and the bomb is dropped as well, so it's going to be left to Yesya, who's quickly dead, and Wilkie to try and keep this alive. I think that's Yazi.
Yazi, yeah.
I'm just gonna go with Yazi because that's what they are on our records.
Yesya.
It's a little tricky to say there. Wilkie now left alive in a stunning round from Northeast Mayhem. They came out swinging. That peek into A main was balls to the walls, and it was incredibly successful as well. So now Wilkie in unfamiliar territory, as he's the last alive in a 1v5. Haven't really seen a lot of this for Lore so far in this game. They're going to have to adjust. Now, it's just a question of how much damage he can do, because if Northeast Mayhem get out of this with all 5 alive, all of a sudden their economy is right back on track. Now his position's spotted. He's going to be pushing in towards mid. The flash is good. The duel, not so good for DVL, as he's not quite lining up the shots. He's got to be careful not to lose his life, but it'll be Dash to cap it off. And fittingly, the two Oppers take all of the kills on the round, as they just knock heads from shoulders and bodies back into walls. And the third round's picked up for Northeast Mayhem.
This is going to be the last round that Lore is going to be able to buy if they actually... well,
they should be fine.
Yeah.
They've got 6K on Wilkie. He'll be able to drop for Yazi, and they'll be A-okay to keep rolling through here. They had a pretty solid bank built up for the last few. But you are going to start to see that economy chipped away at just a little bit.
Right.
So it's a bit of a crossfire setup in mid. They're going to put a lot of pressure on these ops to get back in. Not as much presence towards the A bomb site this time, and that's a problem because that's the direction they're all headed. It's Dash who's up top, and he's waiting for somebody to go around the smoke. He spotted one. He's got to be careful to get away. Will be able to fade away, and the damage is done, but the bomb site is secured. It's going to be a 4-on-3 retake, and the utility on the Northeast Mayhem side can make it uncomfortable for Lore to get back in, but it's not going to be able to completely stop them in their tracks. Still, chip damage coming through. Smoke's blocking vision, but at least one position known. And there's the second. It all fades away. Great retake out from Northeast Mayhem as they delete the players on site, secure the defuse, and secure the 4th round. Decent entry from Lore, but they just lost too many bodies on the periphery as they came through. And it just became too much of a challenge to hold in the post plant.
Yeah, something we saw different from Lore coming out that round was they had that really fast rush coming in. And that's something we don't usually see from them. You know, for the whole game so far, we've only seen this sort of slow push, and what they're trying to do is just trying to get that momentum back. They're trying to, well, win more rounds.
That does tend to be the name of the game.
Yes, I would hope so.
If you get 16 rounds before the other team gets 16 rounds, you win the game.
Otherwise, I'm playing it wrong.
John Madden of CS right here. It's going to be a player up by the vents. Chops holding close in towards the mid-smoke, just trying to make sure they don't come boosting around and give them a rude surprise. But it's a much more patient play from Lore. We saw this in their anti-ecos, and now they're kind of bringing it into their main, just sitting in the default as opposed to trying to hit a site fast, allowing some time for the round to develop, for Northeast Mayhem to show their hands a little bit, bleed out a bit of utility before you go into whatever hit you were deciding on.
I've noticed Lore hasn't bought many ops this game at all, actually.
That sounds about right.
Yeah.
Maybe one round, but no, you're right. I don't think I've seen it on the T side. It's not that unusual. You can let yourself go for a little bit more momentum on that T side, fast plays as opposed to trying to work a peak with the op.
Especially on cash. But
speaking of ops, Monk gonna find himself one. player just getting a solo pushing out towards A. Never really the best of plans. It's going to be Kerflopamator trying to make noise and distract them, but the hit's actually going to be coming towards B. If Chops turns around and comes into the vents, he's going to have them with their backs turned. This could be a deadly backstab position if they don't clear it. And it's going to drop the one player on A, so the fake is no longer going to be successful. The jig is up. They've just got to hit it. And if a player slides into checkers here, he's going to die. It's Chops who gets the both with the back turned, and it's perfect timing on the 2K spray down. In Northeast Mayhem, they're starting to close this gap. It's 5-6 now, just one away from tying us up here in the first half of Cash.
It was perfect timing from Chops coming in through that vent there. Definitely waited the perfect amount of time before all the T's had already run onto the site. It was too late for them to turn around and shoot him back.
Now we've finally seen the coffers emptied for Lore. Finally seen it. It's been a long road to drain that early bank build, but there is a UMP on Yazi. And they're going to go for the boost over into mid. Not rewarded early, but they do find the trade frag. Still, Monk is still here, and he's got the big green gun to wreak havoc. Finds another. Monk has been lights out since he picked up the AWP, and he's doing damage once more. Only 2 players remaining. Yes, they've got mid control, but at what cost? At what cost, Josh?
I don't want to speak too soon, but I think Northeastern Mayhem is actually going to start tying us up. There it is, 6-6.
6-6 indeed. It really has been since that double op setup came out. Lore just haven't had an answer for it. Monk has been rock solid on A. Dash has been rock solid on B. They've been able to take mid control somewhat inconsistently, but they've just been damaged up as they go through it. So Lore have not found really a toehold anywhere on this map.
Right.
Looks like it's just going to be a fast play straight into B main. Try and overwhelm them with pistols. See how it goes. Fingers crossed for the Lore side. They'll flash their way in, and they're just straight into sight. Monk finds the first, DBL the second, and there's more to be found. Wilkie now trying to get through, and he's done it and retrieved an AUG as well, so maybe some potential for damage. Bombs dropped, but I think it fell into sight, so he might be able to retrieve this and get the plant, but not if Dash is hitting his shots like that. So no plant whatsoever, and Northeast Mayhem have pulled into the lead.
What Lore's got to do in order to counteract those ops is just take advantage of their utility and definitely, you know, shove that op out of sight somehow, or shove that op out of mid, white box, wherever, you know, Monk or Dash is sitting, and just, you know, get in there.
Yeah, use their smokes, use their mollies, make the operas uncomfortable, force them back, trying to close the gaps on the encounters. The problem is that they've really been quite good at improvisational opping, so even when they're forced off their first peek, their first read, they've been pretty good at adjusting. Look at this aggression from Squid. That's a terrible timing on the flash for Kerflopamator, for Inferior rather. Great timing from his teammate, going to make it very uncomfortable and eliminate that squeaky position. There's another player in, Kerflopamator indeed, but they've already dropped bodies on site, and these mollies don't quite spread to ruin this boost. He hits him with the flash! Finds the kill as well. Squidda just is playing dodgeball out here. Pegs him in the face with the flashbang grenade and finishes it off with the AK. It's going to be Yazi left alone, wandering through smoke, and he won't even be able to get the first as Chops saves the Opper's life. And they take the 8th round from Northeast Mayhem.
That flash.
So the interesting part of it, too, is when you get hit with a flash like that, it slows your movement.
Right.
So it makes it, you're expecting to be at a certain point in your swing, right?
Right.
And when you, with some of these players, when they've got so much muscle memory, when you hit somebody with a flashbang, you just mix it up that little bit, it kind of shorts their brain a little bit. You don't necessarily
they don't expect it. They don't see it coming.
So that's a new one. Little flashbang dodgeball going on. Chops locking down mid, finds 2 from the sandbag position. He's got support from the op of Monk, and Monk will reign supreme. So bomb already dropped, and now it's just Kerflopamator on the flank, who finds nothing as Northeast Mayhem run this back with 7 rounds in a row to bring us to a 9-6 half.
That was such a quick round.
So this is really just a really nice turnaround for Northeast Mayhem. This is kind of how you see Cash go sometimes, where it rolls in chunk rounds. You'll have 3 rounds here, 3 rounds there, but they just stacked it all on the end, backloaded it, got 7 on the end. So maybe they just need to settle in. They had a really dominant victory on the first game. They were feeling a little cocky, getting a little goofy on those first rounds. And then
that's true.
They settle in, they lock in, and they just start to run it back. Now we've got Dash up and over the boost, but Inferior's going to tap away first. Catches a player before that smoke can really bloom. They've taken mid control, but Inferior's done the damage, and he can just kind of fade away. It's a straight mid play here. Bomb's over as well, and the bodies are dropping for Northeast Mayhem, so they need to start answering back if they're going to have any hope of this. Dash will start off the party, but he's only good for one. And now these two players stuck in mid don't really have anywhere to turn, because they just don't quite have the bodies to force the issue at Highway. They'll change their plan and sneak in towards vents, and if they go quickly, they're actually going to have a chance to get on towards site. This is a bit of an overlook here from Lore. We've got a player in towards tree room, but he needs to win out the duel to prevent them from getting this bomb down, and he won't be able to do so. I don't think they can get into heaven in time either. So, yes, they will likely still win this round, but I think DVL will be able to punch in the numbers in time, and that's really all he wanted at that point. He'll do exactly that. Now the bomb will be swiftly defused, but still well done by the remaining two players at Northeast Mayhem to sneak a bomb plant out of what looked like a very stacked round against them.
4 players left on the board. I mean, that's Lore's in a really good spot to start, you know, making that comeback, and definitely putting themselves in a really good position to win the game.
So now, having gotten the bomb plant in the first, you're not really going to see too much of a force up from Northeast Mayhem. They pick up the Deagles. Not a lot of armor behind them, though. They just want to see if they can click some heads and steal some rifles away and make this expensive and messy for Lore. They'll presumably spread into a bit more of a default, take some peeks, try and click some heads, try and find yourself some picks. It's going to be Hyper up on top of the red box. A little bit of an unorthodox position to solo play A with. The problem for him is if a lot of bodies start coming his direction, it's tricky to get away. He'll fade back off of that box to a safer spot, and this is perhaps well advised, especially as that smoke fades. So now just in towards default. In the back of sight, indeed. He's probably going to be tested here as Monk's looking for him. There's the spot. Not the shot, though. And he may not realize there's more than one as they start to sneak around out towards him. Dropping utility to slow their pace. Dash might get himself onto the catwalk, and that could be a little bit of a tricky spot to deal with. Inferior is now out and exposed, but I don't think they've spotted either one. So it's kind of detente here as some damage is done, but no kills exchanged as of yet. There's presence in towards mid, and now the bodies are falling. That's going to be a plant secured and good positioning from Dash, but he overplays his hand. He finds one nearly the second. Dash somehow bailing himself out of that position. Inferior knows he's here now, and he's just going to try and rain out shots to make it uncomfortable, but he'll still stay alive for a moment. Now Monk and Dash in awkward spots. It leaves it all to Monk. The damage has been done, and there's a shot as Monk goes huge. Still 2 more heads to find. He does have the Deagle, though. All it takes is one click, and he knows one's position over on the red box, but it'll be Yazi to run him down. Round secured by Lore, but it was made expensive by Northeast Mayhem, and they found a plant out of it again, so they're going to have a lot to work with here in the third round of the half.
It was definitely really good eco from them. They, I wasn't expecting them to do so much with those Deagles. Sorry.
They take advantage of the smokes. They just find themselves little nooks and crannies to sneak in towards. They make it awkward on the A-bomb site. And then Lore, just kind of a little haphazard in their approach to the retake, allowed them enough time to get that bomb planted and to make it messy.
Yeah. Dash also was just hanging out by forklift. And he was definitely, the way that he was positioned, it was really difficult for Lore to sort of handle.
There's going to be a player holding for this garage push, so if Kerflopinator goes through the smoke, he's going to find himself with a rude surprise. But there will be a second smoke going up just to give him cover, give him a safe haven to hide in. And once again, we're seeing Hyper play around the red box. Clearly his position of choice here on the A-bomb site, as they've been leaving him alone quite a bit early round. At some point, you're likely to see a rush come through here, and if that happens, you might see Hyper get very uncomfortable. DVL finds a pick in towards the vents, I believe that was, so the boost up, I suspect, finds a pick. Monk takes another towards the B-bomb site. That might prompt a rotate. There's still a player in towards site, and it's going to leave to Wilkie to do some damage. The rest of his team is rotating through, and it's going to be the full CT defense. He's got to just stay alive. He's trying to make a nuisance of himself, but he peeks into the spray. The flashbang player, it'll be okay, and Chops leaves himself in the flames for just a moment too long. He's overdone. Roast alive, and DVL is good for the last. So Northeast Mayhem, they pick up their first round of the T side as the guns come out, and now they're ready to get rolling.
it's definitely really interesting to see on an individual level the players on Lore, you know, how they decide to play on the site. You've got Hyper on A, who is definitely much more aggressive on that red box, and he's definitely sort of taking advantage of his positioning, whereas Wilkie is much more passive. But, you know, to each his own.
A little bit of early nades in A main. They're maybe expecting a bit of aggression. It is a forced buy. Sometimes you do see teams get a little unorthodox in that kind of a context. Nice peek from Wilkie, going to find himself a kill for free on a blinded up dash. Now he can fade away and continue to be a nuisance in towards checkers. There's presence taken to mid, but they haven't quite managed to get out mid as of yet. So Northeast Mayhem down a man early and without a lot of map control to show for it. This could get hairy. Still a lot of CS to be played. Nice swing from Inferior, but he doesn't quite line up the shot in time. And Chops was not blinded. Was able to find the kill instead. Yazi, though, pops the head of Chops, trying to peer around towards Highway. Now there's some space garnered. Still, Yazi going to be tested on this A-bomb site as there's a player slipping in towards A main. Ooh, nice shot from Monk. Reads the aggression. He's ready for the shot, and there's the deletion of the player playing truck. So this forced buy, it looked promising for a moment, but now it's just starting to fade away. Just 2 Deagles left to try and do some damage. Kerflopinator, though, starts off the party with a quick shot on toward the Monk, and that's an AK retrieved as a result. So now they've got rifles to work with, a scout as well, as they can try and get back into sight. DVL and Squidda, 2 players trying to defend. That leaves it all to Squidda with a lot of work to do. A 1v2. Player coming in from truck knows where he is. Now he's got all of the information indeed. And Kerflopinator has nothing to defend with. It'll all be the AK of Squidda to close it out with a nice 2K. And it got expensive. It got dangerous. But Northeast Mayhem, they take it through in the end.
Northeast Mayhem's definitely brought it back since the beginning of the game. I mean, it was like 6-1 at the beginning, 6-2 in favor of Lore before. It's definitely, perhaps Lore should consider taking a attack.
Got to simmer that down. Get the emotions back sorted.
Yeah.
Avoid the tilt. Maybe a good idea. There's now a 3-round deficit for them. And it looks like this round they're just going to be going for a straight mid-peak. They've got a flash for it, so the flash was presumably supposed to come in from Highway. Unfortunately, that player's been dropped, so instead it's going to be Inferior jumping through a smoke and jumping straight into his death. Dash has to be a little careful. There's still pistols lurking in Z. He could find himself with a rude surprise, but he'll fade back towards the window spot. Now they can kind of just chill. 2 players into Z. Could do some damage. He'll be able to get away, but they've found him. That's an AWP in mid with no one to babysit it. This could get very dangerous, especially as another player drops on Highway. They're unwilling to give up those guns, and all of a sudden they may have given up an opportunity into the round. This is looking very dangerous indeed, as now just DVL in A main is left alive. Should find one for free, as Kerflopinator does not clear his position in the slightest. And the bomb is planted for him as well. There's a molly down, but that's not going to completely block his shot on the defuser. However, he peeks a little bit too soon, and Hyper had the read, so bomb will be defused perfectly comfortably for Hyper. And Lore, they steal away an eco round.
I'm really surprised, actually. They were pretty unorganized at the beginning of the round. Lost a couple members, and then Northeast Mayhem, Lore just got the jump on them and just sort of got those picks one by one.
It was a sloppy play towards mid. You give up the one op. He's not expecting 2 players to be in towards Z after they already dropped one out of the Z position. That smoke fades, realizes that he's got 2 facing him, kind of splits the difference, gets very risky. And then the 2 players peek in Highway, do it one by one, and they get tapped down by a firing squad and just aren't really prepared for what they're finding. It's going to be nades in towards mid, and they're going to find nobody but themselves. I think, I don't know who it was, but someone was the guilty culprit, bounced a nade into his teammates. That's not the way you want to start out your ego. But they have gained mid control at the very least. Now they're going to start to slide around towards Highway. Will be players pushed off of the box, but it's going to be Yazi to find 2. And performing quite well here on site. Squidda finds at least a frag to work with, but now the bodies are dropping, and it's Squidda at last to be cleaned up in a relatively clean round for Lore as they climb to double digits themselves. This is very close. 11 to 10. Guns are going to come back out for Northeast Mayhem, but they don't have a lot of margin for error. If they lose this one, Lore's going to climb even and likely into the lead.
Lore, I think, actually has this sort of... they have the momentum from the last 2 rounds. Yeah, they could definitely take this lead away from Northeast Mayhem. Not a lot of utility on Northeast Mayhem side either.
Just a bit.
Yeah, they don't have the money for it though.
Chop's going to throw some nades out towards A. It's a fake. It's a fake. They're just going to throw utility towards A, and now they're going to move towards the B bomb site, and it's working out beautifully. It's just Hyper left here to defend, and he does have the AWP, so he may be able to find bodies as they come through, but the flash is good, and that's going to force him back in towards the headshot spot. He's not even able to get around the corner safely, and that will drop the site, secure an op for Northeast Mayhem if they choose to pick it up, and secure likely a bomb plan here. Monk even goes into the flames to confirm that there's nobody on this bomb site. They've lost their lurk towards A, but there's still presence in towards mid. And Inferior's going to find himself in a painful situation, but he's up to the task. Finds the kill instead. So it's Monk, DVL, and Squidda all in the site just trying to defend. And this could get hairy. Utility is certainly here for Lore as they start to mount their retake. Back of sight, it's DVL who's dodging Molotovs, but still hitting his shots and more. Monk and DVL chiming in to defend and just grind the players falling out of heaven. And the 3 players in sight are good enough for Northeast Mayhem to take their 12th round.
It's interesting. Lore didn't even see any members of Northeast Mayhem at A. They just threw the nades out. So it's really unfortunate that Lore actually made the call and said, okay, it's probably A. And then the mid player rotated, and then the CTB player rotated as well.
They had a lot of faith in that B op, and unfortunately the flash just blocked his vision, wasn't able to line up the shot. It gets run down and chased down, and they're just not in position to rotate quick enough.
Yeah.
The early retake, the early retake damage was good, but it just wasn't good enough. There's Hyper trying to go for the counter boost in mid. He'll lose his life as a result. They know there's a second here, but they try and push their luck a little bit too much, and Inferior catches him off as a result. So kill brought back. Still, it does favor the T's this early on, and they've lost positioning trying to go for that boost. Mid still in hand, but it looks like Northeast Mayhem, they want to cause some Northeast Mayhem over on the A-bomb site.
Inferior definitely being the superior player at mid.
I like it. Wordplay is a quick way to my heart. It is going to be Yazi in the back of sight who's got players coming in every which direction. They now know his spot, but he's already found one. And there's second, a third for Yazi. Goes huge on the A-bomb site, leaves it all to Squidda with so much to do. Still a bomb to be planted. Players coming in on the retake, and he just has no information about which direction they're coming from. Utility to make him uncomfortable. He wants to take at least one of these fights and make it at the very least a 1v2. Now he's got the information that there's an op coming from the truck, but he's got to swing around, and there's the first found. Tagged, however, in response, he's just got so little room to work with. They've given him space to get the plant if he chooses to go for it, and that's a great kill onto Graflopinator. Turn this into a 1v1. Squidda could do it all here. A 3K already in the round, needs the 4th, and he's going to send Wilkie all the way rotating back to Highway. Squidda, you've got to get the bomb punched in. 15 seconds, 14 13. There's the spot. Now he knows he can get this confirmed, safe, and secure. Wilkie comes back around towards the truck, but Squidda has a pretty good read on this situation. Ooh, that shot misses by a hair, but Squidda's going to get aggressive on the edge of this box. If Wilkie pre-fires it, it could be all over, but he's just checking the obvious angles towards quad, and this aggression, Wilkie doesn't want to deal with it. He doesn't want to go for it. Oh, they're walking out smoke. They're right next to each other. The smoke fades. Who has the shot? It's Squidda! 4K clutch for the man as he secures a 13th round for Northeast Mayhem.
This is not looking good for Lore.
Big plays by the Squid. Big plays.
Yeah.
Just a really inky situation on the A-bomb site, and he comes out on top. DVL on its Eagle, somewhat limited, but it's an eco, so Lore, what can they do here? Yazi's been good. He started out with a 3K on the site, if I'm not mistaken. So Yazi's been good. He's got a Deagle to work with. Can he answer back with the hand cannon, the pocket op? It's a 4-man stack towards A, reminiscent of Northeast Mayhem's pistol round in the first half, or their eco round in the first half.
Oh, yes.
But maybe the same level of success. They're swinging players in towards mid. Damage is being done, but no kills to be found, and it's all just Yazi, the man we were talking about with the hand cannon. Maybe he finds one. There it is. But now they know where he is, and there's no reason to contest. They'll give him that one rifle and hunt later. Meanwhile, they're just going to get the bomb planted and make sure that they have this round secured.
That was really smart from Northeastern Mayhem, getting that mid control, Because you know, if you know that the other team or the CT side is going to eco, they don't have an op to contest that mid control. I think that's actually what got Northeastern Mayhem the round.
Now 14-10. Lore have done a great job of battling back here in the second half, but at this point it's starting to look like the deck may be stacked against them. They just don't have a lot more to work with. This is going to be a critical round. They've got the AUG on Hyper, no op to speak of though. They're going to have to contend with the op of Dash, who was lights out in the first half. Now the question is, what's the answer? Hyper alone on A once again, and this time it's going to be heavy presence early. He's going to have to stand the test. A lot of bodies coming his direction. He'll already signal to rotate, but he's lost his life. Nothing doing. There's a player out towards Truck, and he'll find one. That's Yazi. Good for the second as well, so good damage from Yazi is going to make this retake a possibility. And the utility as well to do so. Yazi, no chance he gets that, but it's close. So very close, he could have tasted that frag. Now they lose presence towards A main, though, and this gets difficult for the remaining players. DVL and Squidda make that just Squidda. He just came up huge for his team. He's going to need to do so again. And this time he's got the up close, and they're going to be chasing him down. There's the first on the no-scope, but they go up and over, and Kerfloppinator secures the round for his squad. Not twice in a row, he says to Squidda. Bomb will be defused. It's hairy, it's close, but they do take another round.
Lore's going to have to work extra hard over the next couple of rounds if they want to win this game, since Northeast Mayhem already has that 3-round lead on them.
What's critical to note here as well is Lore's going to have to almost completely reinvest. They kept 2 alive, so there's something to save, but they're going to go hard into it. So if Northeast Mayhem now win this round, they've got 15, and they've also got the economic reset on towards Lore. So you either have to win this round, or you have to save with pretty much 3 alive to give yourself any decent chance of fighting out for overtime. So this is really a critical swing round. Much of the game comes down to this moment, folks. And it looks like it's going to be a bit more of a slow default for Northeast Mayhem. We saw them break out the quick takes towards A, but this time they're going to slow the pace. Keep an eye on the clock and just weigh it down. Yazi, though, is pushed straight into mid. He just walked through that smoke as it expired. He might catch Chops off here if he's not expecting it. Chops will around the corner. He knows that there's a possibility, but he doesn't take the time to fully clear it, so Yazi gets a kill for free and now can just retreat. The take in towards B, but a nice swing out the vents for Yazi is met with bullets. A hail of fire. Kerfloppinator, though, defends the site ably. Prevents it from quite falling all the way down. Oh, there's the spot. They know there's a player in mid. That means there's at least one of these sites that's likely isolated. The question is, do they pick the right one? Reinforcements now coming. It'll be a boost up into mid for Dash that yields a lot of results, as he now acts as a sentinel in towards this mid position. Nades out as well, going to make it uncomfortable towards Highway, but Inferior doesn't quite want to give this up. Dash instead will do the service and fade away. Now it's going to come down to an isolation play. If Squidda makes noise here on the B-bomb site, he can maybe trigger a rotation and give them a 2v1 on site. But Hyper instead is just going to get eliminated before he can even answer back. Leaves it all to Inferior to defend, with Wilkie rotating in and still a player on the flank. Bomb's now planted, and it's so dangerous because, again, we were talking about the economic reset coming through here. Lore, they're going to probably want to save at some point. The problem is they've still got Squidda coming into mid. Good first kill found. Inferior, he wants to battle this out. They're going to contest, and now DVL is going to be left on an island waiting for Squidda to rotate in. Squidda's got to get a little bit quicker, but the flank's going to be coming through, and there's a player up on top of red box, but he's now left all alone. Squidda just has to hit the right shot at the right moment, and it's left to Inferior to try and save, as he knows there's no chance he's going to get this round. He's get the op at least, and Squidda's just going to chase this. No reason not to. He'll lose his life to the bomb here. No, he does not. He gets out fast enough. He's just trying to chase this off down. Inferior holding in towards mid, going to rain out a shot, but does keep the op. So there's something to work with here if you're Lore, as they try and battle back 4 rounds in a row to take this through to overtime.
That's match point.
That is match point. Squidda, he had that ridiculous 4K. He's 23 and 15 right now, leading, I believe, the server, at least his team. Yes, the server as well.
Wow.
Well played by the Squid. He gave me a donut today, so I'm a big fan.
Oh.
Yeah, he gave me a donut. Good kid. Good kid. It's going to be Hyper getting aggressive in towards A main, and it'll work out. Catches them at the edge of smoke. Dash not quite expecting it. I don't think we've really seen it yet from Lore, the aggression in towards A main. There was one round in the first half, I think, where Northeast Mayhem got a lot of success pushing an AWP in towards A main, but it just hasn't quite happened yet for Lore. So it works at the perfect time. They can't retrieve the rifle, but still, damage done. And Northeast Mayhem on the back foot early on in the round.
I think Hyper's aggression has really costed Lore a lot of these rounds. I mean, this is one of the few rounds that we've actually seen it pay off, but...
Would you say he's been hyper-aggressive?
No.
No? He won't stoop to that low. Inferior are going to catch another kill. That's Chops peeking around through A main. Now they know where the AWP is. They can react based on that knowledge. It's going to be Squid to show presence this direction. Instead, the bomb will shift towards the B bomb site. Still going to be Monk and DVL to try and get this, and they've got 2 players to overcome, both with Deagles. No utility behind them, but at the very least armor. One player chased back into tree room, and it's going to be Monk to lead the charge. He finds one, knows the second one is painted into a corner, but he just can't quite close out the frag, and he needs to put a new clip into his gun. Flopinator are going to be chasing out, and that allows him to catch DVL. Leaves it all to Monk. He's got Squidda elsewhere on the map, and Squidda will secure his mid, but Inferior is just walking right into this, and he'll get the kill and prevent the bomb from going down. So now 13 seconds, Squidda just has to straight take this fight, and Inferior has all the information, all the positioning, but he can't hit the shot. Squidda does it all. 16-11, Northeastern Mayhem will close it out right at the tail end off of a clutch from Squidda. Fitting, I would say.
Yes.
So a strong performance from Northeastern Mayhem. Really a great match on either side. Lore and Northeastern both had things to show, a lot in store for them as we continue to see them in the tournament. But that was ultimately going to be Northeastern Mayhem's match.
Yeah. I really think that over time, Lore's communication, or maybe not communication, but their organization just got less organized. You know, their team coordination got, it sort of started to fall apart after the first 6 rounds. I think they got cocky. And then once they realized that Northeastern Mayhem could actually catch up, they sort of got in their own heads.
It happens at times, just everything falls apart a little bit. Some big clutch rounds for Northeastern Mayhem. Squid in particular, a player to highlight. But the team as a whole answered back in dominant fashion. So, folks, that's our second map of the day. We are going to have more action coming to you, folks, here at the NCS Minor one-day CSGO LAN. We'll be back in a flash.